Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Dirty Dojo. This is an open door session that's available to the public. Before we go to our closed door private session, it's essentially a community service, so to speak, uh, to introduce any of you that are not familiar with Wing Chun or martial art style exercising, or to those of you that are familiar and want a place to hang out and train a little bit. Now, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so train at your own risk. Typically, we have Sifu Chad over in Colorado. I'm in the Sierra Nevadas in California right now. Chad's over there in the Rocky Mountains, and typically he joins us in this session. He may join this session, but he's dealing with some car issues and stuff. So hopefully he'll be able to join us. Those of you that are familiar, and that one of the most important, I'd say the most important training aid for our style of martial art training is this sandbag. Sandbag, very important. Double, double bagged. Here's the old school canvas bags that the banks would put money into. I don't know if many banks have these, but Amazon still sells canvas bank bags of this sort. Just double bag it, so to speak, and put clean sand in here. You get that at the hardware store. Pick up play sand, children's play sand. You don't want to use regular sand that hasn't been cleaned. That would not be a good idea. All right, let's get going. We're about 3 minutes into this. The sandbag is vital, I would say, to all martial arts, certainly vital to Wing Chun, since it is known as a striking, more as a trapping art, but your hands are out front in Wing Chun. It's the first point of contact often, not always, but more often than not, especially if you have control of the situation. Your hands are the first point of contact. So this is what the sand training develops, is developing the strength, especially the tendons and the joints within the fist, so that the hand does not get damaged when it makes contact with whatever you're trying to, how shall we say, navigate. Now, the secret to successful sandbag training, as some of you, if you've been to this channel before, you know, the big secret to sandbag training is not hitting it hard. You want to hit it moderately to light, repetitively over a long period of time. Aloha, Justin. Just in time. But that's why your name is Just in Time. Get it? Just in time. I'm sure you've heard that before. Aloha, brother. Gaming Legend '09. What's up? New subscribers. Thank you. Uh, New subscriber. I didn't catch your name fast enough. Stuff goes whizzing by here. So yes, developing the hand over gradually. You don't want to damage the hand, especially if you use your hands. I'm a musician, so I really like to use my hands. So damaging the hands in order to strengthen the hands, that's a different martial art. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's a different martial art. Now you can develop the fingers, the fist, the palm, the backhand, the wrist, the arm, the elbow. Yes, Sierra peoples, man. Aloha. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, this is part of Iron Fist training. Very good. So, if you don't have a sandbag, I highly suggest that you get a sandbag. Again, 2 layers. You can buy these really cheap on Amazon. Maybe one of these days I'll put a list to the best source for these. And make sure you get children's play sand goes in here. You do not want to put dirty sand in here, like from the beach or something. That could uh, be very bad. Now, this is called Iron Fist. Some people even put bearings and hit bearings, hit rocks, sand, beans, all kinds of things. Now, if you don't have access to this or you want to make something like this, you can cut off pair of pant legs. Summer, you can cut off, make some shorts, tie them off. Again, double ply. And then instead of sand, you can put rice or beans. Pinto beans is something, but any sort of bean would work. I would also suggest you triple bag with the most inner bag being sort of a thick plastic bag. I think that would help if we're going to be punching beans and stuff, but maybe not. Maybe not. Now, some of you may notice that some of this is dusting up. That's because after you hit this over a long period of time, it pulverizes the sand, sort of turns to dust. So my local hardware store here, the Home Depot, does not have sand. I think sand is hasn't been in stock. At least hasn't been in stock since I've last checked. But I need to replace the sand in this for sure. Elbows, knees, eh, even do shoulders. Works nice for those little checks. So where's everybody from? See, peoples, where are you coming in from? Anybody seen that latest AI stuff? There's this, I'm sure everyone's seen it. It's kind of populated the YouTubes. But the Bigfoot vlogger, I don't know if Bigfoot vlogger came up with this. He's been calling everyone chat, which I like that. Hey, chat. As if when you're making a vlog that you're in live chat mode, but that's awesome. Upward wrist, downward wrist, downward blade, upward blade. All right, we got about 2 more minutes. I suggest stand training. If you're new to this, I suggest doing this every other day. I say every other day because you'll want to let your hand kind of recoup, just like any workout. And then if it's, again, you're trying to gradually develop the strength and the density of your hand. So there is no rushing this, guys, not in this technique. Rushing it is more than likely going to cause injury. All right, we are there. Very good. Now, some of the other things you can do, which we're going to do right now, is some very basic sort of resistance exercises or lifting. Instead of using weights, weights down there, I'm going to pick them up. We use the sand and the sandbag. One of the wonderful things about sandbag is if you're traveling, you can empty the sand and just use carry around the empty bag and then pick up rice or sand or whatever to put in here. So, and if you're just going to use the sandbags for lifting, then it doesn't really matter. You know, you can put practically anything of weight in here and then use it to lift. In this particular case, we have the sandbag. What we're going to do while we're lifting that we can't do with weights is we're going to squeeze, actively squeeze with our fingers. Okay? So, for instance, we're going to do arm um, arm curls, bicep curls. Instead of just activating the bicep, which is good, art influence, and we're constantly going to be s- um, squeezing, grabbing, and also just slightly flexing the wrist as well when we're doing this. All right. Adventures in. I've been noticing that his actions out there in the Rocky Mountains has not been has been subpar, shall we say. All right, well, we'll keep going and get in. So let's go ahead and work with this. We're we're going to and just actively, especially when we get up to the top, can even lift her up. All right, that's two. Go. Just do 3, and we're going to go 10. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, let's try it again.
Now
All
I see
right,
you.
you made it.
All right, now how's it going? Sorry, I didn't get your 9:30 PST until a little too late. I was on a bike ride, came back.
My carrier pigeon wasn't flying fast enough to get the message to you. Yeah. All right, let's do the right hand, right side, guys. We're doing curls. Well, I already did the left side. We're going to do the right side now. 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, 5. Really squeeze with the fingers. Incorporate this concept into an entire weight training regimen, weight resistance regimen. I have that listed on our Patreon over at patreon.com/Sifu Z. I have a weight training program for you guys over there. But instead of weights, you can easily use sandbag. And in many ways, sandbag can be more beneficial because, again, you're able to really work on that squeeze, right? Ken, you're not really going to do that so much. Larry Moe curling. Yeah, you're not really going to do that so much when you have a bar. It's pretty much fixed. You're holding the bar in one fixed position. And I'm noticing that by having any sort of fixed thing, eventually through repetition, you're going to find the body doesn't like it somewhere. I'm noticing in the elbow. The elbow once, because if you feel right here on the outside of your elbow, and you open and close your hand, yeah, you feel that. And so
Yeah,
all these tendons and ligaments are connected
kind of like riding.
over here to the elbow. Oh, you're doing the inside. I'm but you feel it on the inside as well.
Yeah. Oh no, I got you. Yeah, inside. Oh, like on the. Yeah.
Right here as well. This is usually a great point of if you want to hurt somebody. That's a great pressure point there. But you can open and close, and you can feel how that's kind of connected there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by being by yeah by just having that little bit of wiggle room where as I'm lifting, I'm doing this, I'm kind of doing this just a little bit. I'm not going nuts, right? Because you still want to work the main muscle. But I think it might help in not creating that sort of elbow pain that you get a lot of times from lifting heavy weights repetitively in a very static sort of way. Let's go second set, 2, 3. And also get a tricep. If you turn out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Got one more set to do on that. So yeah, you can do overhead tricep extensions with that. You could do tricep uh, um, pullbacks there. You're not necessarily going to get much out of like push up kind of a, or rather, pressing. But if you use it on the floor and then push up with it, you're getting a very good exercise here. I'll show you what I mean
Burpee push.
before we go into our third set. Yeah, burpees or just switching, right? And just switching from here to here. Kind of out of room here, going more side to side. I'm not doing it properly, but
Uh,
uh, right, doing push-ups. We were talking about push-ups. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, this is a wonderful bag to do push-ups off of. It's quite luxurious.
hmm.
And then you can do various push-up exercises bag. Ooh, and doing this sort of a thing where you're
Yeah.
you get wild. All right, let's do a third set on this. And thank you everyone for joining us here. This is the Dirty Dojo. I'm Sifu Z. That's Sifu Chad over in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. This is we should, we need to just go right back to Mauna Kea.
I think so. I mean,
You know what I'm, s-
makes sense.
you know what I'm saying? Because we're the ones that are really in the mountains.
Yeah.
You can't really call the mountains there the volcanoes that are in Hawaii mountains. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they're little hills.
They are.
Heck, we remember, were you with me when we were doing that, running up Cocoa Head? We would run up to the top of Cocoa Head to train and then go back down.
No, I wasn't with you. I wasn't training with you guys then.
That was fun, man.
Oh, I don't know. Something about stairs. I will run up a trail, up a mountain, like no problem, like all uneven ground. But something about stairs is just like coming down on the stairs.
Oh, it's grueling, grueling.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're like, stairs of different yeah, it's grueling.
Yeah. Like I don't mind
Horrible. Um,
coming downstairs. Ah,
all right. Last set on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get it on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. To my knowledge, we're the only ones doing the sandbag training, which is kind of bizarre. Probably some of the most important training that you can do for martial art and self-defense. And
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the only ones covering hitting the bag, I'm sure, right? But using the bag, really deep diving into a sandbag, I haven't seen anybody doing that.
There's a lot of
So
utility. There was one
tons of utility.
that I saw on the YouTube that had um, like the very similar concepts that we have with the sandbag, like not hitting it so hard, stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember who it
Oh,
was,
good.
but yeah, he seemed to
And
know.
you also got to kind of see the time span there, because
I know.
we've been doing this online since 92.
Yeah,
So there's a good chance that that information came from us. Now, again, I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
yeah.
So,
Indeed.
so, I want to show some other good exercises. If you've got like a heavier bag, this is kind of good. It's called a holdout, and you just try to hold it out, but also the point is to squeeze the elbows, straighten the arms, and then try to put the elbows together. You can, of course, but oh my god, yeah, you can get, and it's not the same as just holding it out. Holding it out with a bent arm, that's nothing, right? The whole idea here is to hold it out straight and try to get the elbows together. Oh yeah. So that's a wonderful exercise.
My
It's again a take. It's a take on a holdout with weights, but when you have the sands, you've got a different dynamic to work with, which is squeezing the sandbag, and then of course pulling elbows in. Especially if you're holding out, you don't want to hold out like this. You want to hold out like this. It's not a big difference, but you can
yeah.
see it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how you want to hold. Uh, some other great exercises that are almost ideal for this amount of weight are deltoid laterals, right? And front, right? So very good weight for this type of exercise. Again, you do 3 sets of 10 to 12. If you want, you can add sets or you can add reps. You're going to, it's going to be infinitely harder. I was doing it easy. It's going to be infinitely harder if you hold it like this and then do it and squeeze with the fingers. Way harder. Same thing here, right? Squeezing with the
I
fingers.
could make a smaller sandbag.
Squeeze.
Mine's big.
What's that?
I need to make a smaller sandbag because mine's a little big. Like, wait, I mean, like I could do it, but it's
Yeah,
like too strenuous for me to do it comfortably.
right.
Yeah. But
So again, when you're making your bag, if you haven't made one already, or if you're going to make another one, these are the kinds of things to keep in mind. When you order these bags, you can order them like you can order a bunch of them.
yeah, money bag.
So you can make a bunch of a bunch of sandbags with different weights, right? Maybe if you have weights at home, you can gauge exactly how much weight you need and then bust out a scale
Yep.
sized, which we used to use a lot in the early days, the little hand sandbags, right? And then Sifu Chad looks like he's got sort of a medium sized, yeah, and yeah, and I've seen and I've had and I've also seen guys that have huge ones, and those are great, especially for like if you're doing work like I was showing you and going from side to side. It's almost like having a little body size, right? Um, sort of dummy to work your ground stuff on, especially your top ground
Right.
stuff, transitioning from side to side and all that. Um, so different size sandbags, it's awesome, and different. If you might find some money bags, they offer them in a pretty big, yeah, pretty big. So you can buy those, fill those up, and they're like miniature heavy bags, but way cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, so as soon as I've been moving around, and I just moved into yet another new place, so and getting everything organized and doing all the things on the list, pain, dang.
You're
So, but that's one of them. It's definitely on the list. Is
you assistant man, assist man. Is that what you are?
this man.
The assist man, man.
With
I mean,
I don't
I read
understand.
your Patreon blog. Assistant manager, assist man.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Uh, and you know what? It's funny. I now I'm like, oh, that's right. You used to do this sort of thing, except it's more security kind of a thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But like I said, private dick or something like that,
yeah, yeah.
right? Resident.
You're like a
No, I don't fix
modern,
shit. I don't fix
mod-
shit.
modern day.
But yeah, I have chased away a decent amount of the riffraff here just by mere presence,
Mm,
and
yeah, they can't take that Wing Chun presence.
it's hard. It's hard, can, uh, can deal, you know. And think about it, right? What is the superpower that Wing Chun gives us? Wing Chun specifically, by the way, not all martial art, but there's one particular skill that do you know which one I'm referring to?
Out of like the 700, I think it's real time.
Yeah. Oh, dang, that was good. I'm impressed. All right, I'm impressed. Very good. Very good. Yeah, seafood chat ain't seafood chat for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, Justin, absolutely. Explosive power, dynamic power. Yes, absolutely. All that stuff is true.
700.
But the one I was specifically referring to that you need almost superpowers to understand, because Seafood Chat's correct. There's like so many benefits we can get. I've even tried to break it down to like 12 essential,
Hmm.
so to speak. But no, yeah, there's probably maybe even more than 700,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. How many times can you divide an inch? Right?
Oh
Or
gosh.
every time you have an inch, that whole
Now to
so
go to man, there's a lot of different small sizes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And an
Yeah,
inch
it's,
to several million
uh, uh, uh,
increments.
yeah, like the 1 inch punch, which we now refer to the no inch punch because I like it to be from here,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because see, it's kind of still a 1 inch punch. Do you know why? Not because you do that. No. You know why? It's from what you don't see. Yeah, yeah. Here. Yeah, can we get that? There we go. Here's the 1 inch punch. Right. This is what you don't see. There's
Right.
1 inch right in there.
I see. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
boom.
The fencing of the fist before
Yeah.
impact. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just there. There's 1 inch.
There.
Bam.
There.
It's but I like the no inch punch because then it gives it away. It doesn't give it
Right.
away. It's like there's not even 1 inch.
Yeah.
There's not even 1 inch. Yeah, this is the 1 inch is in the palm of your hand, right? That's bam, bam. Yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, that's super secret knowledge. If you're watching this, just go ahead and delete this video from your hard drive. Yeah, this is super secret knowledge.
Anyway, what happened? I didn't hear anything that just you just said. None of it made sense. What is a no-inch punch? There
Yeah,
doesn't
there.
exist. It's yeah.
I will cheap punch you right from here, all the way from the Sierra Nevadas. Boom,
Wait.
all the way out to the rug. Oh, man. There's that kung fu power that we're world famous for. That famous kung fu chi power, ladies and gentlemen.
That could
Yeah, chi, by the way, chi actually, just for anyone watching, chi actually does have a real name, purpose, function. Chi, the characters kanji for chi is water and rice. Water and rice, food, metabolism. In reference to a human being, that would be metabolism. So chi is in our understanding. Mm, Not everybody has the same understanding of it, but from my understanding of it, hey, I'm open to be. Whoa, I'm open to be corrected on any of this if you got good information on it. But as far as our understanding, the chi is in reference to metabolism. So, and that's so important because, right, no matter what you do on the outside here, don't matter if you're, but I found out period of time of thinking that was all up here. Doesn't matter what you eat. No, 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 no. It'll catch up to you. It'll catch up to you. You'll do a blood test as you get older, and you'll find out. Yeah, things aren't so good of these things. So you gotta watch it. So chi and our understanding, and then what you eat is what gives you the power, right? We were talking about proteins, allowing for muscle development and growth and strength, right? So so chi is a very important aspect, and it's too important in my estimation to throw off to mystical, metaphysical qualities, right? Um, and I'm not trying to downplay the metaphysical, so to speak, but I just think the physical aspect of chi is way more important than what I ever hear given credit to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came up with this understanding when mystical chi was trying to be taught because Sifu Ken Shun had during one of his seminars had said was talking about how chi, um, where it all came from. So I learned a certain amount of it from him, but then he crossed over into the metaphysical, and then I had to go and do something because it was like a 4-day seminar or something. I had to go do something, and when and I was coming back, I had to go take care of some business because I didn't have that time for myself to attend. So I just let him with the students. And when I came back, I found out that I said, "Well, so what have you guys been doing?" Because they stopped. By the time I got back, they stopped. They were all trying to put out a candle with chi power. I was livid. I was livid. I'm like, yeah, no, no, So yeah, putting out candles with cheap power, that's bullshit. You understand where the bullshit is, where that is. Yeah, yeah. Or even just the wind. I mean, I could just do that and set, especially if I have an open hand, right? And then, but it looks like it's closed hand, right? Because open hand close. Now, here's the thing. That could have been a real lesson, as in how do you take that 1 inch and apply it, right? Because it's an open hand here, and so it'll throw a little wind. But then by the time it reaches its target, it's tight, and then it looses again, right? Boom.
Right.
You're letting go of that energy.
Hmm.
But that's not chi. That's wind. That's
Yeah.
wind that's putting out the
I
flame. But you could have turned that into an actual, like, yeah, see how if you put the flame out and just it would be a physics thing, it would be fine. But don't turn it into a metaphysic thing. That's bullshit. But
yeah.
anyway, enough on
If they
that.
wanted to, if
Um,
they really wanted to test that metaphysical thing about putting out a flame, they should have just set up a giant bonfire and then tried it.
or put something in between the flame. Because
Between,
chi apparently can go through things, right? Sort of like atoms, right, or whatever. So anyway, yeah. So everybody's got their approach to the metaphysical,
yeah,
and I don't mean to shit on people's parade when it comes to their metaphysical understanding. But here's the thing: if there is a physical understanding, understand that first. Don't throw it all to the metaphysical. You know understand it in the physical as well as it could be understood by others and then by yourself. And then if there's the god of the gaps, then if that's what's going to make you sleep at the end of the day, by all means, right? Throw it to the god of the gaps. But don't be lazy, man, because that's just an insult to intelligence. And I didn't like that because we were paying a lot of money for this seminar, and especially we as people that live in Hawaii that don't make a lot of money, bringing somebody over to the mainland to then kind of get fluffy. But his seminar was a great seminar. I'm not gonna, everyone loved it. They thought it was really a lot of detail, a lot of information. Sifu Ken is so detail oriented in his seminars. Yeah, it's It's something, right? But here's the thing: you throw the fluff in there, and then you just almost tainted all the information. Like, oh man, do I? Yeah, the core guys came and like, again, don't throw it all in the metaphysical until you've exhausted the physical. That's all I'm saying. And people get all sensitive about this. And it just goes to show how, bullshit is a sensitive subject.
Yeah.
You know, if you're sensitive about something, you might want to check the level of bullshit,
Sensitive subject,
right?
fragile subject,
Yeah,
sensitive.
yeah, because if it's a subject that you know about, like starts talking to me about music and sound waves and heart and anything music theory. I went to two music colleges for music theory. I'm very confident in my understanding, you
Yeah.
know. So when you start to talk about, like mystical stuff or in as far as music, I can very, as we've had the discussion, I could we could talk about harmonic overtones and how incredible that is to music and our understanding and how we feel about music. Our tones, both high and low, that we don't even hear,
Hmm.
but are implied sonically. And yeah, I studied that stuff, so I don't need to hear your very subjective, emotional um, explanation of sound. We yeah, that's actually been covered. So same thing, martial arts, same thing in like a lot of stuff. It probably makes us intolerable for most folk. So going back to the thing, most people can't to go. I wish I had little. See, when we hit it big time, we're going to buy one of those roadcasters with the buttons on it, and one of the buttons is always going to be a picture of Jack Nicholson saying, "You can handle the truth," right? But I'll get an AI version to say, "You can handle real time." Right, because think about it. If you're being your Wing Chun self, which you should monitor, by the way, you can't just, it's like pulling down your pants at a party. You can't necessarily do that everywhere. Um,
With some people, um, other people are living the concept but not understanding it like the way we do. You know what I mean? So,
but if man, people can get so, and they don't even know what's going on. I mean, what's going on is you're a shadow, a reflection of real time. I say a shadow and a reflection and not a representative because, well, then no, no, no. Our ability to see real time doesn't mean that we can live in real time, but we got to live as a symbiosis. It's that unique thing of this of a cell of the symbiosis to be able to see itself a lot like we are the universe observing itself, kind of the thing, right? um to even be a mere reflection or a shadow of real time can be very spooky for people, and people behave in And this is how you know it's spooky because people behave in the classic various ways when something spooky occurs. All right. They'll try to get power over it. They'll try to submit it, they'll try to, there's all kinds of, they'll complain about it. They'll call the cops. Yeah. So it's a very peculiar thing. You have to watch, uh, yeah, people's response to seeing shadows real time. Yeah, and by the way, I came up with that analogy in real time, and we're doing all this live for the world to hear and see. Anyway, if you like this sort of pontification, then you might like to join us over at patreon.com/cfuz, and also if you'd like to learn more about what we do, go on over to cfuz.com. And yeah, I think you know what, we're coming up on almost an hour. So I think we're going to do a private session, but we're going to do that session. We're going to go through all the forms. We're just going to blast through the forms. Sounds good? Okay. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 17 million subscribers. So please help us to get to that goal. 17 mil. Yes, we can do it. All right. Salutations. We'll see you next week. And I'll see you guys over at patreon.com/cfuz at the Dirty Dojo. Yo.